Hey, Jeff here. So, we're all on self-quarantine here, of course. Hopefully you all are all enjoying the time in the house. And it's a rainy morning here. I'm working from home. My job is one that allows me to do that since it's mostly computer-based. So I've been working at home now. They've had us working for over a week since last Monday. So you know, I don't got cabin fever too bad because I don't mind being alone as much. My family still runs around because most everybody's here. Then my wife is still working. Medical field, what can she do? Anyway, hadn't got a whole ton of stuff in recently, but I did get some things. So I wanted to go ahead and show what I got. Some that came in yesterday. So I got this, one of the new limited run vinyl. This is the Guardian. This is the Miracle Mile album. Let's do a little brief rundown on Guardian. So I mean, Guardian is almost kind of like two phases for those of you who don't. So when Guardian first started off, they were you know, different arrangements, different singer, you know, so they had they were under the name Voyager. This is a CD that was released a handful of years ago. Voyager, which had a demo, Fusion, which had a demo, and then Guardian without the U is how they spelled it before, without, and they had some demos. This was put together, a compilation a few years back. I show it because a little claim to fame here. Inside here, if you can see that, is a copy of a magazine called The Pendragon, and that is the magazine that I used to publish. And the reason that's in there is because when the label put this together many moons ago, nobody seemed to have the demo, the old demos from the band, except I had a copy because Dave Bach, the bass player, had sent me a copy years and years ago, and he didn't even seem to have a copy anymore. So they reached out to me, I sent them my copy, they put it on the CD, and I never got the tape back, and I'm kind of sad for that. But anyway, it's been preserved here for the most part. They did make one mistake on here because on the original cassette there was a song near the end of side one, and when they made it the duplicate, they faded it out, and then when you flip it over to side two, remember cassettes? Anyway, it faded back in. So you had the end of the song on the second side, and I put a note in there, hey, make sure you don't forget the end of the song on the second side. It had a cool guitar solo and stuff. Well, they did forget it. So on here, when it fades out, and it's one of my favorite songs, I believe it was Look to the Future, it fades out, and they missed the whole, you know, last minute of the song or whatever. So that was a little frustrating that they didn't preserve it. Now I don't have the cassette. There's no telling if the song's ever going to go. So anyway, then the band got signed, of course, and they brought out this. This was originally released on vinyl from Enigma back in the day. This is Enigma, the same label the Stryper was on. It was produced by Oz Fox, guitar player from Stryper. So this was their debut. This is the 20th edition CD that came out a while back on Retroactive. So this is the one album with the original singer, and then they switched singers and went with you know, Jamie Rowe, or JR for those of you who know from the Tempest days. And Fire and Love came out. So it's really kind of like a different feel, different style. I mean, you know, very, it's a different feel. So some people may say, well, this is, you know, the real Guardian, and other people may go back and say, hey, the first one is. So, so Miracle Mile, this release, is their third album, but the second with Jamie on it. So, and like I say, it's very much just a very commercial, hard rock, borderline metal. And this album just was just a little step up from that. Now, most people, Fire and Love is one of their favorites, you know, and I love this one too. Now, the big question is, so that's two albums that Retroactive released by them. The first one, I don't think will probably, I don't know if they'll reissue that at any point. And like I say, it was on vinyl back in the day, so it's still available. You can find them cut out pretty easy. The question would be now, next up is the Buzz album. I like this album, but it was a definite change in style for the band. It went to a more alternative sound. This is the early 90s, so things were changing. And then the album after this was even a little more from the alternative sound. So I guess it depends on what. Again, I kind of look at that as almost, you know, phase 3 of Guardian. You got phase 1, which was the commercial sound with the original singer, and then and the costumes and all that too, which whatever, that was a fun time. And then you got phase 2, which is when Jamie first joined, and it's got that real commercial, just what you would expect from the late 80s, early 90s, kind of a borderline hair metalish type sound, but you know, a little different. And then you got the next phase, which is when they kind of cut their hair and went alternative. Decent stuff, but it is different. So, you know, are those going to be issued on vinyl? I'm not sure. This one, though, they did a great job reproducing the cover. They went the extra step and put a 7-inch single in here, which has a live track and a bonus track, which was really nice that they included that. It is on splatter vinyl, which is what the new thing is. So if I can get it out of here, beautiful red black. You can see that through that sleeve. There you go. Very nicely done. Sounds very nice. Another little claim to fame, since I showed you the magazine and the other CD. And why won't, oh, this is actually the inner sleeve of the sleeve. It's not just a single front back page. So we got the lyrics on here, and then as Scott Waters is known to do and loves to do, is the collages here. Now, this thing I want to point out here, notice in the collage you can see these baseball card things. See if I can get it here. There's one there, and then there's one there, and there, and there, and there, and there, and there. See those baseball card things? That was a little thing that came out. They had a calendar and they had baseball cards years ago that were released as bonuses for that release to certain package deals. And the reason I point that out is because I just had them. I don't know where they went. I told Scott I had them. He had never seen them. Guess they weren't real popular, but so I scanned them and sent them to him so he could use them in there. So, yay! Another one of my little tidbits, adding to yet another Guardian release. All right, so yes, great stuff. Great album. Hope you go out and grab it before it's gone, because these limited vinyls are gone. So that's my little synopsis of Guardian. Next up was what also came in the mail was the Paramecium Exhumed of the Earth. Now, Death Doom metal. Now, this is like the drummer from Mortification, and he went out and did this, so it's pretty heavy and just, you know, if you haven't heard it, it's pretty cool. They put a couple albums out. Way back in the day, I had this on CD, but at the time, I'm just like, I wasn't too much into Mortification. I wasn't into that deep, growly stuff, so I had it on CD for a long time, got rid of it. Back in the days when eBay first started and everything, I think I sold a lot of stuff that I didn't really have fondness to that, you know, in later years I bought again because I was like, dummy. Well, you know, struggling back then, needed money, young couple, having kids. A lot of things got sold that I kind of wish I didn't sell now. But so I had gotten rid of this. So it's been decades since I've heard this. And so I went ahead and bought it though because I know it is a pivotal album. And I've listened to it, and you know, it's still not splatter vinyl. It is on double record set. And I've listened to it, you know, and it's cool. I dig it. I dig it more than I probably did back then, because I'm definitely more into Doom now than I was back then. But it's a little guttural for me. That it's not something I'm going to play a ton, but they did a great job on it. There's gatefold, got the original artwork, got openings with all the stuff there, and the back, and I hope there's not much glare. I can't see what I'm doing. So yeah, they just did an amazing job. And everybody looks at this, like I say, as being somewhat of a pivotal album. It's like one of the founding albums for this genre in the Christian realm, blah, 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 blah. So, will they release more of their albums? Not sure. But they had to do the first one because it is just a foundational album for that. So, all right, and then this came in, I think, yesterday. Angelica, another limited run vinyl. Angelica Rock, Stock and Barrel. I think I showed this CD a couple handfuls of videos ago because it also came out on CD. This is Girder Music, limited run vinyl. Probably one of, yeah, I really like Angelica overall, but this album especially, and I might have mentioned that with the CD. They have a new singer. It's the bass is just popping in this. It is amazing, because the first song starts off with heavy bass, and you just listen, and it just on vinyl it sounds so sweet. The remastered CD was great compared to the old. Not that the old was bad, but when you compare them side by side, which I tend to do, it was noticeable. It was just cleaner, and the record shows the same. I was just listening to it actually, and it's just succinct, just the cleanness and the division of the instrument. I just really like it. So I thought it was really weird that this sleeve came in it. I don't know why they threw the sticker right there in the middle. I thought that was a little odd. I would much rather have it up here so I could see the cover, and I can't really peel it off, so I was a little frustrated with that. I was like, huh. It is, this is not on the splatter, this is on kind of a swirl. It's really hard to see, it's really dark. It's almost purplish, but it's more gray, dark gray, kind of got a little blue tint, swirl, very similar to, other previous ones. But, it's not all so much about the look as much as it is the sound, and it's just stellar. Lyrics, this is one of the just front and back sheets that I was talking about, so, which is the norm. So anyway, great stuff. It seems like most of the Angelica stuff is coming out on vinyl. I am looking forward to, there's a couple, I think at least, I know I got the Without Words one on back order. But anyway, looking for that soon.
Raise my soul.